Okay, so I start in Procreate, and I've just created a new piece. I'm going to click insert a photo. And now I have a whole album of tree possibilities. And I think I'm going to try that one. So it goes in and fills in the whole thing. I often make it a little smaller because sometimes my photos don't quite have all the branches that I might need later. It's better to have a little extra space. Okay, then I click over to the pen. I usually don't use black because I want to be able to see it really clearly, so I pick, some kind of bright color. And I use this monoline. I have to be honest, I barely know how to use Procreate. I just do the best I can, fake my way through, and, I'm not trying to create art on here. I'm just, whoops, I guess I had it really large for some other purpose not too long ago. And I'm lucky I have this very large iPad Pro. I did not buy this for myself. It was, I inherited it from somebody I loved very much who is no longer with us. And it's just kind of a gift. I never would have bought this for myself, but now I use it all the time. So I'm not going to bore you with going through the whole thing. I have to make choices as I go, which branches kind of work well. I try to honor the tree. This one is on the UC Berkeley campus. Campuses are great places for well cared for trees. So sometimes I close off a shape and drag the color in so that I can see it better. And then I can zoom in and kind of smooth things out. I can also take the layer I'm doing away, just check it, and I'm noticing right here, there's actually kind of a nice little bump. It's so zoomed in that probably doesn't show much, but that's the kind of thing that I check for as I'm going. All right, I don't think you need to watch me in real time. So I'm going to continue working on this. Okay, here's where I ended up. Here it is with the photo. And if I hide that layer, it gives me a chance to see what I've done. I tend to crop it really close, and I'll explain that in a minute. So then I'm going to share the image and save the image. Then I go to Cricut and I hit upload. And I have a bunch of other trees in my already uploaded, but this one is a new one. So I go to my photo gallery. And now there is a special thing that makes the background remover easier, but I don't need that. So I'm going to select, and I have found for my purposes it works best to select the tree, even though that is the mask. There's a color tolerance. If I don't add a little number here, I want the color tolerance to be greater, so I just add a 0. I'm not sure what it really needs, but by doing that, oops, I can select, and it selects all of it. It doesn't, if it's darker or lighter anywhere, affect it. So there's apply. Then I would name it XYZ and upload. Okay, and so it ends up on your canvas in Cricut, and it's always very large. So it's like 28 inches wide. My Cricut mat, the largest one I have is 12 by 24. So I'm going to select it and edit. Even though it's 12 inches wide, the widest it will let you go is 11.5. So I always look to if I want a really large one, which I do want this time for what I'm working on. I make my height 11.5. In this case, the height is the short end. And so it's going to end up 16 inches approximately long. And then I hit make it. And there it'll tell you how it's going to lay it out for you. Next. And I set it to fabric. That seems to work for me. I think it's called bonded fabric. And then I will load it in and cut it. And here we have a high-speed version of the Cricut cutting. I use 5mm Duralar. I prefer the matte. It comes in large sheets you can cut. Okay, that one took about 8 or 9 minutes. Take it out. But I leave the little bit of extra on here so that I can just cut that off and have a little extra trunk. Because even though the mat's 12.5 inches wide, the design can only be 11.5 inches wide. So that took me about 9 minutes to weed all the pieces out and clean off the cutting mat. So again, even though the Cricut is doing all the hard work, to just be aware that it does take quite a bit of time. So one advantage, of course, is that I get my exact own designs by using the Cricut. But I want to bring out this PM Artist Studio stencil and just show you that it's made out of Yupo, not Duralar. And I'm sure you can't really tell in the video, but it is quite a bit sturdier. So I think this is going to hold up really well. Mine, I do put them through a lot, and every once in a while they rip. So there you go. For those of you who decide you'd rather not make it but buy it, PM Artist Studio carries 6 of my different trees, but the cool thing is they have all different ways and sizes. So like this is a mask of an oak that I've used, but then they also send this little stencil with it. Haven't used that one yet. And like this beech tree comes in different sizes. So got a really nice variety, and I will put the link in the little notes. So I hope that little video was helpful if you want to make your own, and if not, check out PM Artist Studio. Along with trees, they have so many awesome designs.